What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Praise Podcast. My name is Eric Lottie, the host of the Praise Podcast. Of course, I am joined by the co-host above every other co-host. That is the Brooke Paninsky. She's in the house. We're excited because today is the last episode of season 3.
It's crazy.
It's crazy that we've done 3 seasons of this. There's some of you thinking, why?
How?
Who's allowed this?
What for?
But yet, here we are. This is going to be the last episode of season 3, and I do want to let you know. So typically we do every other week, every other Monday, and so because of what we're releasing, and then also because of the way the calendar falls, our next episode is actually going to not be until September 30th. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Mainly because that is the, to the date anniversary of the Praise Podcast.
Yeah, and we've alluded to several times of what's coming. And some people are just smart and they've kind of picked up on some things. But on September 30th, like Eric said, it is the actual anniversary date. And so it just seemed appropriate and fitting, especially since we didn't plan that or know that we just launched this next chapter in this next season of this ministry, or component of this ministry on the 30th. So we're going to just breeze through this episode. Because it's our last one. So just chill, nothing wild. We're just...
it's the last one. And also because, let's just be honest, Brooke and I are on parent duty today.
Well, there's a lot of reasons why.
There's that as well. Bo's sitting outside of this room right now eating a chicken nugget Happy Meal.
Yeah,
and
he's happy.
And I'm hoping he doesn't come knocking.
Well, no. And it's also, I feel like we always are pretty good at at least I feel like we are, of when we are done with something, we do always reflect. And I just feel like it seems kind of appropriate to wrap a little bow on this and just take a second to reflect. And then, I don't know, I feel like, what do they say? Period with a T.
Period.
And then to have a minute of just to take a minute to have on our end and the back end some extra time to plan and organize and get some things done. And then that way, for the 30th, I just want to talk about it so bad. We're ready to go and ready to talk about all the things that we're doing. So, anyways.
So we're telling you that, one, because, build excitement. 2, we're telling you that because we know many of you are very faithful to listening, and you know what the calendar says. And so, let's see, what would that be? Come the 23rd, is that what that date? Yeah. Come the 23rd, when you don't see a new Praise Podcast episode, just know everything's okay. It's just not coming out until September 30th.
And if anyone emails us, I'm going to be like, you didn't listen to the last episode, did you?
You didn't listen. So now we've caught you. Now you're in. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a song spotlight, and just in I think in the spirit of reflection, I'm going to change mine, and I'm going to do mine of what probably my favorite of the calendar season has been.
Ooh.
I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying that.
That's a good idea, though, for sure.
As we mentioned,
there's
Bo just comes walking in. Hey, go back out there.
That's amazing.
There you
That's
go.
a good idea. Well, I'm trying to think.
I'll go first while you pause.
Yeah.
All right. So I really don't know all the songs I've done all year, but I will just say right now, I think my favorite song for sure recently of all the ones I've done is Made for More.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny because
I'm into that song.
That's my least favorite song you've ever picked.
I know.
And yet it's the one you like the most.
I'm into it right now.
I mean, you're loud. That's good. I feel like if I had to pick on some of the ones that I've, mentioned before, I think this is just going to be an ode to Lee Schulte, but I'm going to pick Give Me Jesus.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Yeah.
And who else? Who else
is also a really good one? And I mean, those are you find sweet little random ones and then you're like, oh, this could be something. And then you bring it to the house and you're like, yeah, this is good. And then your people lead it even just, I don't know, more beautifully than you could ever have thought. And then your whole congregation loves it and you see it more than just weekends, it's at special services. And so those are two songs that I'm super glad I'm super glad they were written. I'm super glad we came across them. And I'm so grateful that Lee leads them the way that she does and that our body receives it the way that they do. So that would probably be my reflective song, I guess.
I'll tell you another one that I like is Another One.
Yeah.
That would also be.
That is a good one.
Turns out I
Especially
have
when Nate leads that. That's so good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nate.
Nate. What's up, Nate?
Elder Nate.
All right. So
those are good. That's a good idea.
Boy, that just hit.
What's the next idea you have?
The next idea is I'm going to crack open my new favorite sparkling water. Here we go.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but if you're wondering, it is created by
Maison Perrier.
Maison Perrier. Forever Lime.
Oh my gosh.
0 calories, 0 sweeteners.
Okay. Well, speaking of 0 calories and 0 sweeteners, I want to just spend a few minutes talking. Like, let's just think for a minute. Like, what are some takeaways from this last? I mean, would it have been a year ago? I mean, September to September, pretty well.
Yeah, roughly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, looking back, are some of the things that immediately stick out to your mind as like top worshipful moments, whether it be conversations on the podcast or conversations just in like your position and with volunteers or staff or opportunities or whatever? Like, what are some of like, let's talk main highlights that come to mind that are just like praises from this past year?
So I would say, and I don't know, this one it feels weird to say this, but only because too we it's just, I think part of it is because it's prevalent in my mind right now.
Okay.
But it has been such a year of like, we have had a lot of people very close to us, our volunteers, which are very close to us, but have just walked some, I mean, really real and hard just stuff in general, whether that's loss, whether that's health diagnosis, just so many different things.
Yeah.
And like every single one of them have continued to serve through it. And it's not just about like that, but like with a posture of like, I'm going to do it in spite of. I'm going to do it anyways, regardless of what gets thrown at me. And so I think that has been, I mean, it's obviously been, it sucks to watch people that you care about go through things. But it's also,
it sucks, it's been really fruitful.
It's been, I mean, selfishly, I guess I say, like it's been encouraging, not just to me, but so many people around, our team in general. One, because we've gotten to pray for things, and we've gotten to see healing, and we've gotten to see positive reports, and we've gotten to see all these things, which is great. But we've also gotten to, I think it's really taught us, like, do we really mean the things we say? Do we really believe the thing? Are we willing to do the hard things in the hard times when the going gets tough? And are we willing to celebrate with each other, but also pray for each other? Are we just in all those times, are we able to walk the walk in a way? And it's really cool to not see your people suffer and have hard times, but it's really cool to see faithful people be faithful.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's taught me a lot this year in that.
That's a really good one. Yeah, the fruit that has come from, I guess, I mean, you wouldn't wish this on anyone, and especially your people who, there's always that question mark of like, they love the Lord and they're so faithful and they're so this and whatever, and yet they're contending for their own healing and standing on the truth and standing on the faith and belief that Jesus can heal them, and also that they have peace if he doesn't. And that's like pretty remarkable, because like what we do really doesn't matter unless like it's real, and I feel like it challenges me to just be as like legit as possible, and to be someone who like the last thing I ever would want to do is be someone who like pretends that I've got it all together, or that any word I have came from myself or my own mind, or that, you know, this is easy or comfortable, or honestly my pick of what I would be doing with my life or ministry or whatever. Like, I mean, there's just, people would have no idea, but it's also just like, it's so encouraging because it's like, though, this is just what it's like to be a Christian. Like, this is what it's like to walk the walk. Like, no matter if I was employed at Central or not, it's like, this is what it's like to walk the walk. And I'm just so thankful for our community here for sure. Yeah. But speaking of community, I would say a highlight for me has also been watching how people in both leadership here, and especially John Henniger and the elders for sure, but like even the whole Carbondale campus expansion has obviously been like a huge stretching, blessing season of growth and trust and faith and whatever. But like watching how, you know, the Lacrones and Chapel and Chris Donahoe like stepped in, and plus all of their, you know, families, spouses, kids, whatever, like their extended parts of them stepped in to lead this campus. And then, like I was talking, John, the elders, like how their posture of just being so prayerful, and the behind the scenes things. Like, I'll never forget when they finally landed on a building, and of course, they have this timeline, and it was a big question mark because it was like, well, how we're going to say a time, but we're not really even sure, but we're just walking in faith and all the things. And John mentioned it at the grand opening of like the partner that we have at Carbondale, like helping us with all the construction. Like, he began all of that, like without even a contract signed yet, you know, and like, it was just so cool to see the favor of the Lord and his hand on that whole project, and to see the leadership be so faithful and diligently prayerful, and to see staff step in and move their families or sacrifice time or say yes to an unknown thing. It was just, I don't know, that's, I mean, obviously for many people, I think probably a huge takeaway from this past year of ministry. But yeah.
Well, and it really is it really is a church-wide thing. Like, yeah, not everybody did construction or painted walls or, you know, did anything like that, but it really was a church-wide thing as far as, I mean, you know, obviously without the, you know, a church that, one, is extremely generous, but two, a church that is kingdom-minded as far as, you know, making sure that God's kingdom grows outside of even their own community, and willing to put their resources toward, you know, really put their, in lack of a better term, money where their mouth is, and, you know, support that. And so that, it just, it's been a really... it was really cool this past weekend to get to celebrate that. Yeah,
well, and another cool thing is, it's like Bo's back. Another cool thing, though, is like many people, John has said it before, but like they haven't seen under 200 people at that campus since they launched on Easter Sunday this year. And you were the one sharing on Sunday that for grand opening service, they had to add chairs.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have that, and then you've got all these people who are coming far and wide, really, to this particular campus. And I don't know, I just think the Lord's just getting started, and there's so much room for us to figure out things and grow and to reposture ourselves, and just like get ready for the next like wave of busyness with this like new, I don't know, like extension, and to prepare for whatever ones the Lord brings next. But like, I don't know, just from WSIL to online viewers to Carbondale to Mount Vernon, like the amount of people that we get to come in contact with is just honestly like, it's kind of wild. I mean, to some churches, it's like nothing, but for us and where we're from and our church is located, like it's a lot of people. And so then sometimes I do feel like that added weight of responsibility to just be like, okay, like you need to be the real deal, because there's a lot of real work to be done. And you're one of the very few people like positioned on staff to lead, and who knows even a little bit of the ins and outs. Even on staff, I don't, but it's still like, but do I care? Like, is there accountability there? Like, do I want that position? Like, I don't know that I want it, but I'm thankful to be trusted with it. So I don't know. It's weighty sometimes, but you're like, holy cow, like the Lord's about to do some really cool things. So this last year was incredible, and I can't even begin to imagine like what this next year will be like. So
All right, we have like 4 minutes.
okay, so
Okay,
let's.
So what is something?
I say, do you have another question?
I have a question.
Okay,
but we're gonna have to do it quick.
Let's do it.
What do you basically, without ruining any surprises?
Okay.
What are you most excited about coming up? Is there even a way to answer that without like revealing too much?
I'm excited. It'll reveal a little bit, but you really won't know exactly what. But like, I'm excited to have like a fresh take and a fresh look and some fresh addition to the ministry of what Praise Podcast is. And I think it's cool that we have a handful of avenues that we're going to see do that. And it's not even all, like that's all we can do for right now. But I always love when the Lord keeps giving vision, because it's like the ministry isn't dead yet.
Yeah.
If you continue to have vision for what's to come, then it's like his hand is on that and his spirit is on that, and there's fruit coming from that. And so that's still always going to be worth my time. And it's when you get to a spot where you like don't see the fruit and you don't have vision, or you don't see his hand, like you genuinely feel his hand removed from something you're doing. It's like, oh man, like that's always kind of a weird thing to walk, but it makes me excited that I know that there's something next and something more. Not only for what we're launching in a few weeks, but what we're launching, hopefully even to come to keep growing and building. So I think that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
You did well there.
Oh, thank you.
That was good. That was good.
Good.
All right.
Can I ask the next question?
Yeah.
Unless you have an answer to your own question.
No, you can ask a question.
Okay.
But we have 2 minutes.
It's all right. It's all right. We're good. So in the next 2 minutes, as your position as creative arts pastor and as, someone who's not only leading like your home, but then you're like here at this house leading over 100 volunteers and a handful of people. I mean, sure, in your department, but just staff wide, you lead people well. What would be something that, looking back, that you're like, okay, I'm not going to do, I need to check myself here and like make sure going into this next season that I'm going to do it better. And then like something that you're going to add. So something you're going to change as a humble leader, and as something you're going to add as a wise leader. What do you think those are going to be?
Change is probably, I think spending time reevaluating priorities, time, not just even, and I feel like the natural thing is like, oh, that means home, and of course that plays a part of it, but even just how I spend my time at work, because a lot of times poor time management here leads to the need for time to come from elsewhere, and so I think prioritizing, what I'm involved in, what meetings I actually need to have, don't have. I think it's important to always be just looking at your schedule and your time and how are you spending it, using it. Is there a way to be, is there a way to serve more people but be more efficient and maybe actually do less but accomplish more?
Yeah, that's good. So I guess moving forward, what's something you're going to add?
Moving forward, something that
even though I feel like that could answer both, but I don't think it.
Yeah. No, I think more opportunities for feedback.
That's good.
Yeah.
Feedback is important.
Yeah.
I think because a lot of assumption and perspective can come from the lack of feedback or the type of feedback, and so.
Yeah. I mean, I get, and I mean, like, obviously, we're in a pretty public position, and so I mean, like, trust me, there's plenty of feedback there.
But it's again,
like
it's what kind of feedback you're getting,
and so I think just seeking
from
out
the source,
out the right feedback from the right people.
Yeah, there's some wisdom important. In that. Yeah, and it takes a necessary posture too, to be able to like posture yourself to not only like ask, but like actually really ask, and then not only just actually really ask, but then really receive what someone has to say. And then I think the added wisdom to that is like, what of this do I take and what of this do I not take? Like I receive this, but I won't receive that. And I don't think that that's prideful. I think it's like almost like
it's just
it's
smart.
wisdom.
It's
just discerning. And we talk many times, but like you have such a gift of discernment. And so, I think you're the perfect leader to kind of model that or and step into that or see what that's all about. And that's good. I would say I agree with all those things. Not like you need me to, but I feel like those are all really good things.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right.
He said, "What are you gonna do to be a better staff member?"
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. All right. Well, this is a short episode, but big things are to come, and we're excited about that. So again, stay tuned. September 30th. September 30th will be the next time you hear from us on the Praise Podcast. But we will have so much to talk about and share with you, and we just couldn't be more pumped about that. So stay tuned for that, and we would love to hear.
We should leave them with a hint.
Okay.
Not like a hint, but like a challenge, like a
All
fun little like. I have an idea. Are you ready?
Yeah.
This is live. We've not talked about this. What if?
They're so not used to that.
No, I know. What if? So, if you can find a sneak peek, a little breadcrumb of what's to come on Instagram, and we see that you've followed the breadcrumb on Instagram, we might have something free for you that's also to come in which you don't know about yet.
Wow.
So a free gift for a fun game.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Starting now?
Starting now.
Okay. Now is September 9th, so just so everybody knows.
Yep.
Starting now. All right.
Starting now.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're excited about it. Looking forward to it. We appreciate all of you that listen. We'd love to hear if you want to email in your reflections from the past year, maybe your favorite moments, conversations, episodes.
So
We'd love to hear about that. Eric at centralnow.com or Brooke at centralnow.com. We'd love to hear all about those. As always, you all are the Praise Podcast community, are the reason that we do this. And so we want to hear from you, talk with you, and we love you all. Appreciate you all. We will see you September 30th for a new era in the Praise Podcasts. I just got shy on how I was supposed to say this because I've been
in every day and in every way. Let's be people who bring the praise. We'll see you next time.